What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is once again time for Premier League predictions. Thank you all so much for 26,000 subscribers. Let's continue on the road to 27,000 and then 30,000 and 50,000 and beyond. I really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you leave your predictions down in the comments below. Here are the winning accumulators over on the Patreon since the last video. As you can see, you can read all of them here, but I did add this one at the top, which wasn't a winner, but it was a result on both teams to score mega accumulator. Another one at odds of 90 plus to 1, like the last winner we had from the championship. But unfortunately, Lazio were the only team out of the 8 UCL teams in last night's games not to score. And as you can see, we had City, Leipzig, Porto and Atletico Madrid to win, both teams to score very, very close. But we did have City and Leipzig as a separate, more favourite double, the early kickoff UCL treble the day before. So if you want to get involved with these tips and support the channel for just a very small price, £8.99 a month, then click the link in the description. I've had a lot of people say they've already won their membership back and more, so check out the link below to support the channel, get a bunch of tips. Like today, for example, Europa League and Conference League, I've gone for some mega odds, and if you want to check that out in the next couple of hours after this video has been uploaded, you might be able to see the late kickoff picks. And flashing up on your screen are all of the people that are currently supporting me over on Patreon. Again, over 100 paid members a month, which is absolutely insane, and I love that for all of you. I love being able to talk to you in DMs and talk with you about football, because that's why we're all here, isn't it? Now, a lot of you might be wondering, how can I get involved with the result on both teams to score goodness? Well, this weekend in the Premier League, I've never seen anything line up quite like this. I have 7 result on both teams to score tips for the 10 games in the Premier League. And if you're feeling mental, you feel like chucking a pound or something, all 7 of the results on both teams to score come in at odds of nearly 2,000 to 1. I just think I'm not just trying to force the issue here. I typically pick 1 or 2 result on both teams to score per Premier League weekend, but I was looking at every fixture, going through the things, and I just think every single one looks good to me. So let's get straight in, kicking it off with Forest up against Tottenham. Forest, a good home team, but Tottenham a better team. This is selection 1 of my result on both teams to score extravaganza. 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur, and the tip is Tottenham to win and both teams to score at 3.25. After this, we move on to the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth, one of the form teams of the league. They are currently, they are 1 point off, 2 points off of a top half position, and they're on the same points as Chelsea, Wolves and Brentford, as you can see here. And they're playing Luton, who are on 9 points, 3 losses in a row. I think Bournemouth can get a win, and I know this is a fact because I've never ever tipped this before, but the first time I'm ever going to tip Bournemouth to win and both teams to score at 3.2, with that being the second of my 7 result and both teams to score picks. And it doesn't stop there, because we're moving to Stamford Bridge for Chelsea up against Sheffield United, and once again it's another 2-1. It's back-to-back. It's Chelsea to win. But these odds, 1.24, that's not going to cut it. Chelsea to win and both teams to score at 2.87. So that is 3 of the 7 result on both teams to score tips to come in. And what did you think I was done there? I'm not done there, because we have Manchester City, who love conceding a goal. And we have Crystal Palace, who were unfortunate to lose against Liverpool here. I think that red card was ridiculous. It's funny, a lot of people seem to think that the second yellow warranted a yellow. I don't think so. I really don't. You see those tackles all the time, and I can understand why Jordan Ayew was so shocked. He was so shocked that he got a second yellow for that, to the point where he couldn't even protest the decision because he was just so shocked. And I completely agree. I don't think it should have been a red, and you could tell Liverpool, they all of a sudden then went on to think, we are going to win this game, and they did. But this is Man City against Crystal Palace. 3-1 for Man City. Another result on both teams to score for Manchester City, like we just had with RB Leipzig. Man City and both teams to score at 2.75. Makes the odds so much better. That's 4 in a row. Result and both teams to score, you see here. And it's not going to stop there, because we have Newcastle up against Fulham. Newcastle, very weird results in the Champions League. Unfortunately eliminated from Europe altogether, but they got absolutely battered by AC Milan in the first game week and managed to scrape a draw. And then they basically battered AC Milan and lost. So it's really strange, but Fulham here, they're scoring goals for fun. 5-0 back-to-back, so they're going to score. But we have the 5th one. It's Newcastle and both teams to score. It just is odds of 3.5. Now, you could just go for Newcastle to win here, but I think the first 4 being a result on both teams to score just encouraged me to do it a bit more. But you can't argue with this. Like, all of these results look plausible and look likely, and I really think it could happen. Now, after this, we have Burnley up against Everton. Now, this could be a result result on both teams to score, but the odds didn't necessarily warrant it. I like Everton to win at 2.14, so I've actually given Burnley a goal. You could go Everton and both teams to score and make it 8 for the game week. Now, obviously, it's so unlikely, hence the odds of, well, if you add Everton and both teams to score, that would be like 6,000 or 7,000 to 1 for all of these 8 to be result on both teams to score. So it's very, very unlikely, but I could see it happening. I just could. It's the first game week, I think, maybe ever, where I've predicted both teams to score in all 10 games. But I'm not necessarily as confident to go result on both teams to score for some of the other ones, and you'll see what I mean. But I think Everton are going to beat Burnley. They're on brilliant form, and if you take off their 10-point deduction, they are sitting comfortably in 10th place on 23 points, potentially pushing for European spots. They are playing well. So what a season for Everton to get the points deduction, to be honest. I think they're going to beat Burnley here at Turf Moor. Arsenal and Brighton, we're going back to result on both teams to score. I think Arsenal are going to beat Brighton. Brighton have a difficult game in the Europa League tonight against Marseille, and that is for a position in the top spot in the group. I could see them drawing 2-2, Brighton and Marseille. I think that's going to be a high scoring. I think both teams will score. So BTTS and over 2.5 goals for Brighton Marseille. If you're watching this in the first 2 hours, it's a free little tip for you there. I think there's going to be plenty of goals in that game, and I think there will be in this game as well. Arsenal, I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. 3-2. Arsenal to win and both teams to score, up from 1.47 to 2.87. That is the 6th out of the 7 official result on both teams to score picks, but we could also add Everton to the list if you felt so inclined. But after this, it's Brentford up against Aston Villa. Brentford, a really good home side. Aston Villa struggle away, and Aston Villa also have a trip in the Conference League to make, albeit not necessarily important with regards to where they finish in the group. It's still travelling. They're not as good away. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between the two teams, and my tip is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 1.95. That allows for the 2-2 draw. That allows for a 2-1 victory either way. I couldn't predict a winner and both teams to score like every other market, and predicting draw and both teams to score is a tough one that I don't typically do, but it could end 1-1, it could end 2-2, but both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 1.95 is good to me. And after that, we have West Ham up against Wolves. Wolves and West Ham both looking pretty good this season, I suppose. I mean, Wolves, I really like the way they play, to be honest. I think they are a decent team. I think this is going to be a close game. West Ham, again, have Europa League football to contest with here against Freiburg, and I think they can win that game. I think they can win and both teams to score again. So I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw. Keep it typically lower scoring, like Wolves have historically had games like that, but my tip is just going to be both teams to score at 1.75. The draw does appeal to me here at 3.53. And the final game, it's game of the week. It's another result on both teams to score. It's Liverpool up against Manchester United. Liverpool, they're going to win. They're top of the league. Man United don't draw games. They are out of the Champions League, the worst performing Premier League team in the Champions League. I don't know if that's for points as well, but they finished bottom of the group and they've conceded more goals in the group stage than any other Premier League team. So even if it isn't the worst points tally, it might still well be. It was a pretty poor group stage campaign from Manchester United. I think Liverpool are going to win this one at Anfield 3-1, and you guessed it, Liverpool and both teams to score at 2.3. So if you want to chuck Tottenham, Bournemouth, Chelsea, City, Newcastle, Arsenal and Liverpool to win and both teams to score together, it's 1,902.99 to 1. And then if you add Everton to win and both teams to score, which is probably about 4 to 1, you just times it by 4 and it's going to be about 8,000 to 1. And I really like these picks, and as you can see, no clean sheets for anyone in the Premier League this game week. And I think, you know, obviously with 10 predictions, all of odds of 2 or 3 or above, there's going to be ones that don't happen, but there are going to be ones that do happen. So take your picks, enjoy the football. I'm very excited, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, this has never happened before. I've never looked at so many fixtures. I just started at the top. I was like, that looks like a result on both teams to score. So does that one. So does that one. So does that one. And then it just kept going and going. And granted, some of them, I could have been more influenced on my decision to make previous ones. Like this, I think result on both teams to score, definitely. This one, less so, but it could happen. This one, again, it could be a clean sheet for Chelsea. Again here. But either way, that is going to do it from me. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video very soon.